Okay, welcome everyone. Hello, it's Michael here, and today we will talk about workflows. I would like to show you bulk operations, and I'm gonna try to answer your questions. Oh, nice, someone already. Okay, that is fine. Okay, so still feel a little nervous, on this live. Is it gonna get away ever? Maybe. All right, let me check first before we actually get started because, that was crazy. Last time, my microphone was switched to this little nasty camera, and the sound quality is all right. So if you can hear me, let me know. Do we have any comments straight away? Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome. How are you? So let's have some fun today. I'm gonna talk to camera this time more, if that makes any difference. But let's have some more fun actually with workflows, and I would like to show you how to convert very quickly from simplify workflow to non-simplify workflow, and I would like to also show you a few tricks in regards to the screens, because I think it's like last time. I'm gonna hide the chat. We'll be checking chat. So if you've got any questions in the meantime, let me know, of course. Yeah. So we're gonna use Jira Cloud again, free version. Doesn't really matter. If using server, absolutely fine, no problem. Let's do it. So let's actually have some fun. Where we are here. Let's have some fun with the simplified workflow first. I'm gonna explain you because, in my opinion, there is kind of like more hate relationship towards simplified workflow than non-simplified workflow. So anyway, we are in a Kanban, Scrum, because as I told you, this is absolutely not important whatsoever. So I'm gonna go actually to my SSP because I have a little bit more projects over there. So very quickly, let's. Of course, if you want to create a project, go to projects. You can add few tickets, but let's actually stop for a second because backlog. So backlog, our waiting room, we adding tickets. If we're using Scrum, if you're using backlog in Kanban, it's going to work in a very similar way, of course. But the purpose of the backlog, of course, just collecting issues, and we pull them into drag them, pull them into our active sprint. Of course, a sprint must start in Scrum methodology. And I've got an interesting question on YouTube before. What is going to happen with that active sprint? Is it going to can we have like a separate kind of board based on this? And it's like, it's strange because this is how it works. That's, guys, how it works. So if you haven't used that, if you create a sprint, start the sprint, the sprint active sprint is only about those tickets which has been actually picked and moved into the active sprint. Yeah. So let's actually stay over here for a second and explain about the workflows, because there's like two things in Jira mainly. It is about the workflows and the issue types. So we're not going to cover issue types. So when you create a ticket, we've got our issue type. I'm going to show you next time how to do it. If you want to change it, you want to have a customized. But this is really simple. But I would like to stop for a second with the workflow because, well, let me explain. So when you create a project like this one, it has a little bit extra bit, but when we move to our sample, I just want to show you this one. Also, I've got actually a few. So if we go for whatever, I think this one is going to be so exactly. So this is actually a very good example. When you start creating projects, Jira is always going to create a simplified workflow. What does it mean? Let's actually start our sprint. Yeah, I'm gonna. Well, you're supposed to do it actually opposite way. Yeah. So just drag few tickets. Doesn't really matter. Let's start sprint. Yep. And what's going to happen? So what was the problem? Start. Just don't understand why 22. Must be like old project or something, whatever. So we would like to have 2 weeks, of course. I don't want to have something like 2 years, whatever. So this is it. And the simplified workflows mean you can drag the issue and move them to any column. And well, okay, I'm going to give you my opinion because I have a really, really strong opinion about this. There is like so much kind of hate towards this simplified workflow, and oh yeah, we can't use it because anyone can actually drag it from to do to done, or or even when the ticket is resolved in the done, anyone can drag it back to do. It's not like entirely true because there are some ways how to block it. You can use something like we call conditions, and based on conditions you can actually set it up. However, yes, this is the whole idea. So I'm going to tell you my opinion. It depends about the team. Yes, it depends. If, for instance, it's a large team, and well, you must have non-simplified workflow. Which, of course, I'm going to show you how to add a few extra steps to that. So you're going to have like really cool stuff in a minute. But if you're a team, well, get used to that. Believe me, it works pretty well. It's like I had a conversation with, let's call a client a while ago, and I convinced them actually the team is 25 people, and I convinced them based on the stuff what they're doing, and they use actually Scrum methodology over here. Based on the stuff what they do, they don't really need a non-simplified workflow. The simplified works actually really, really well for them. Because there was some problems like what we have to like in progress, sometimes we moving into in review that still needs to be moved into in progress. I was like keep adding and adding and adding and adding that all transitions. And one day I said, look, let's scrap it, let's have a completely simplified workflow, and it works pretty well. So in a simple words means you can drag it to any place, but there's more than that, because honestly, I can tell you one more thing. If you're Scrum Master, if you're manager or like business analyst, chances are you are not the system administrator. What does it mean? Obviously, you cannot administrate Jira stuff. So there are some chances here you are project administrator, which is great because if you're project administrator, you will be able to create your very own workflow. However, in some cases, if the workflow is shared by multiple projects, you won't be able to do that. So that's why there's again simplified workflow, because where you're going to change the simplified workflow? Yes, of course, you can navigate to the left hand side, go to workflows, which is here, and in a minute I'm going to show you how to actually convert it to non-simplify, and you can actually you can do it from here. But what's happened if, for instance, you do not have, well, you have a project administrator permission? You should, why not? But the workflow is shared with few other projects, and well, if it's shared with few other projects, there also will be a problem with the simplified one. Yeah. However, in that case, you don't really need, if you're still project administrator, you don't really need to go into this actually project settings, because you can manipulate the workflow from here, which is from here, from that right hand side, board settings. Yeah. So if you really want to do it, I'm highly encourage you to follow my steps, by the way. And we're going to add a few extra steps into this workflow. So we're going to add, let's say, not the status, a column, because this is actually really cool. Jira is going to help you to do that. It works exactly the same actually in the server. So let's I'm sure, I'm not sure, like you've seen my previous videos or that workflow. Well, let's add this block because like I really like this status, so you're gonna add not the status, you're gonna add a column. Yeah, so you get a column we call blocked. There you go. And by the way, that category is just a visual. Yeah. So something really interesting happens if you've never done this before. He did this like here, just Jira is going to ask you what category you want to add. And I strongly believe it should be, because this is for you. Yeah. So it's like, should be like in a binary mode, like 0, no work, like in progress, it's work. Yeah. So I put a 1. But if it's actually blocked, there's no work. That's why it should be to do. But up to you. If you want to use it in a different way, no problem. And what is going to happen if I collect this blog something blah blah blah, Jira is going to create additional status for me. Yeah. So yeah, you can actually go status, add column, but it's easier just to hit that add column because he's going to do it for you at work. Pretty cool. And what's happened, as you saw it, it's just added that status blocked in the kind of like in the middle. Yeah. So if you do not like it, some people actually like it to keep it on the left-hand side. Some people like it on the right-hand side. And look at this. If we go back to the board, there's a little bag inside the Jira. Please always, when you're adding, especially new statuses, just hit the F5 refresh. Why? Because I don't know, for some reason you won't be able to move tickets into blocked. Yeah. And at the moment, look, you can freely again move it to the block. But let's explore it a little bit more into details, because it's a little bit more cooler. So we're gonna add, for instance, another one which is gonna be called like in review. Yeah, we've been doing this before. So I'm gonna add is the categories is I think is okay, because we just like in reviewing something. Right, so in review. Yeah. So again, if you do not like the order, you can change it. And obviously, I think I told you that before, but because some people keep asking me, so make sure you have that simplify workflow. Otherwise, you won't be able to add a status. It will be only column. Yeah. Okay. So again, look how quickly you can modify the workflow, because yes, we are actually modifying workflow over here, how quickly you can do it without even adding just this some people call nonsense in project setting, stuff like this. Okay. But let's explore a little bit in more details, a simplified workflow, because I hope you know that the one column, whatever in our case will be blocked, can hold multiple statuses. So why actually I'm keep talking about this, because very often what I see, especially for people who just like discovering kind of this stuff, they're going a little bit crazy with status. It's just like adding 29, 20, sometimes even more. But I've seen like people just like, because you can add in minutes, so in like 15, 20 statuses. Just think about this, because from my experience, less is more. Yeah. And especially if you start adding this extra statuses, it's going to make your team a little bit more difficult. Yeah. So just this thing, yeah, just do not add it like adding, yeah. Just have a plan. What do you think? Talk to your team. As I said, I'm not gonna rumble again about this, because believe me, with more than 10, like up to 10, 12, it will work absolutely fine. So let's explore this multiple actually statuses. And at the moment I put the blocked aside, but still want to keep the column. And instead of, I'm going to add 2 extra statuses, which is going to sound like, I don't know, waiting. Yeah, waiting for. I've been doing this before, so you can follow my steps. Waiting for support. Why not? Is a good status actually. And waiting for a client, which is actually really cool. And now look, we're going to drag them, waiting for support, waiting for a client, and they're going to be actually holding in one column. Yeah. Of course, you can add more, but again, don't go too crazy. And let's see what's happened. So again, because this back, so I have to refresh the page. And it's interesting, because you normally cannot see them over here, but believe me, they're here, because when we start dragging the issue, the column is going to split now on half. Yeah, so you can as you can see, you can drag them to whatever you want. So only that little issue is they are at the moment in that one column. So how do I know which status is which? Because it's really simple. If you highlight this on the left and just click the left click, you're going to see the status obviously highlighted. Yeah. So yeah, that's really it. This is really it. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions, because I would like to move to something more, let's say, sophisticated, which I would like to show you how to convert simplify workflow to a non-simplify workflow. It's like few simple clicks. However, there's still this nasty bug. I'm gonna have a look if we've got any comments. No, we do not have any comments. No problem whatsoever. So let's actually move on to our next topic, which is converting this simplified workflow to non-simplified workflow. Okay, let's do it. So let me switch. I'm gonna have a quick sip of water. All right, so now it's good time to think, because maybe in some cases you do not really, well, a simplified workflow is not going to work for you However, there is something what you can add, which I'm going to show you, to the to simplify workflow and like keep using it. However, it requires extra configuration. So I'm talking about the screens, because what is the problem? So problem is, as you saw it, you move tickets between the statuses 3D, and there's like no any, as I call it, stoppage. So what about introduce a screens? So what is a screen? Screen is basically when you hit that create button, you're gonna see this is the screen. This is a create screen. And what's this? Something new? Yeah, it looks like they rename it or whatever, revamp it, whatever. And the screen, yeah, that was actually a screen. So it is possible, I'm sure you know about this, to have a screen, of course, when we moving the issues between statuses. And I'm going to actually introduce you to the screens first, and next one we're going to convert this into non-simplified workflow, including that nasty bug, which I'm going to show you. So okay, so unfortunately, for actually working with the screen, it's a little bit more complex, and you won't be able to do it from board configuration. You need to have, of course, project administrator settings. This is what we're going to do. So let's actually first of all navigate to project settings. We go to the workflows, yeah, and we go to edit mode. And because this one is actually really simple, so I'm just a little bit not sure about this one, guys, because let's publish changes. Yes, so there is actually a little bug on this. Okay, right. So I'm just like thinking what to focus first. I'm going to show you that there is a little bug. I don't think actually everyone got this bug. I've got it. It's pretty simple solution to fix it. Okay, I'm going to very quickly. So this is when doing the live. I couldn't rehearse this. So what I was planning to do is to save this. Well, because what's happened? My current workflow, which is corresponding to the board configuration, and the workflow which is over here, they, as you can clearly see, they don't match, because where is the block? Where is the in review? And the problem with this is when you're trying, for instance, convert the simplified workflow to non-simplified workflow, which is actually supposed to be pretty simple solution. How to do it? You navigate to this section, and you just need to remove that transition. Yeah, so we're gonna remove the transition. Of course, it's not gonna happen. I'm gonna show you because it's not possible. And now you're supposed to drag the transition from to do to in progress. And look at this. Whatever name you put doesn't really matter. Could be ABC test, and you're gonna add this. Every single time you're going to have this information that cannot perform this operation in a draft workflow. And I believe this bug is only like present in the Jira workflow when you're trying to do it from simplified to non-simplified. This is what I'm trying to do. And what is also funny, I believe not every single instance got it. So let's actually try to remove this bug, right? So what I'm going to do, it is a little complex, but not super complex, but I need to duplicate this tab. And what is the problem? So I need to copy the whole name of this actually workflow and make it inactive, change it and make it active. So little stupid work, but let's do it. It's actually not that complex. So we go for workflows into, now you require a system administrator, and we need to find that workflow. Yeah? So there you go. It is here. So what we're going to do, we're going to copy. Yeah, we're going to copy. And I'm going to call it something, like demo project work, which is fine. Description, let's go empty. And when it's copied, it's going to be inactive. And as you can see, something interesting already happens. A lot of statuses has been added because we've been doing this before with the board setting. So now start looking pretty okay. So let's reorder that a little bit. So I'm gonna go put this in review aside and waiting for aside, because I really want to focus mainly on this. So we got to do, we've got in progress, we've got blocked, and come on, and we've got done. So now look at this. Now I will be able to delete the transition. Yeah. And we're going to delete this transition. Yeah, so this is orphan status right now. I'm going to actually a little bit magnify it, and we will drag that. Drag basically arrows from one block to another. Because please remember, in Jira, status is the most status, not transition is the most important. Yeah, and look at this. I finally can do it. Of course, I know because I've been doing this before. And this one is blocked, blocked, blocked. And I think you have to just like block. Because that's already, I believe the status blocked already exists over here. So we're supposed to delete that before. Never mind. And of course, this one we're going to delete too. So you can actually see how this can be done really quick. Done. And you don't have to save it because it's inactive, but now we need to actually swap the workflow. So I'm going to copy the name, go back to my project, a little bit go back to my project, and in here, I'm going to go add existing. Yeah. And because hopefully it's not going to crash or anything like it, we will select this one, which is my correct one. And I'm going to select, of course, everything because I would like to publish this for my every single issue type. And I only have to publish it. So that operation, I hope it's going to fix the issue with that little nasty bug. So let's see how it goes. Yeah. Okay. So let's go to edit. Oh, it's looking good. Yeah. Okay. So now let's see how that affected my existing project. And by the way, you always need to check if the project is associated. Well, if your workflow is associated with one project, because obviously before you pick that, you're supposed to check that before you actually do it. If the list is pretty long, you're gonna change, like for instance, 20 projects. Yeah. Okay. So let's see how that works. God, the slides are so bright today. I'm gonna dim them a little bit. Okay, so let's see how that works. And if we move it something to our first column, which is going to be to do, of course, yes. Let's see. Right. So, okay. So you clearly can see it's like, well, because actually the status is allowing to put in review into blocked. However, as you can clearly see, I cannot put anything into done. Why? Because the workflow is actually not allowing to do that. Yes, and something also interesting happens if we're going to go into the board settings. We go to the board settings, and as you can see, adding status is not possible anymore. Why? Because obviously we stop using simplified workflow. So this is actually like the quickest way how to do it. So let's explore it a little bit more further, because I would like to show you how to introduce now that transition screens, which they called basically over here, which they called screens. Yep. So let's have a look how to do it. So again, I would like to maybe just like think what we would like to do, and if we only would like to have a comment, like minimum, in this section, the adding screen is super simple, because believe me, you're gonna only create an empty screen. Why? I'm just gonna explain you in a second. Because when you're adding screen into actually a project, the minimum field is going to be comment. So even it's not going to be possible to add the comments. Okay, let me explain, because maybe it's like crazy stuff. But all right, let's do it. So what we have to do: navigate to projects, go to workflows, and if we edit, I would like to have the screen between to do and in progress. So the good news is it's a very easy process to do it. However, the bad news is, if for instance you've got like this one is super simple workflow, but if you've got, I don't know, 20 steps, or like sometimes like me, you've got 30 transitions, you have to do it manually. There is no way to automate that. But anyway, the screens going to be, of course, always in between the transitions. So we decided to add the screen between to do and in progress. So I'm going to highlight this, and if you go to edit, you will be able to choose a screen. However, because I've never done it before, let's assume, of course I've done it before, but let's assume we never done it before. Let's actually leave it as it is, and I'm going to again go into my next tab, and you need a project administrator, so system administrator permissions, like the max one, but you need the permission to get access to screens and where the screens are located. So I use my favorite key in Jira, which is the dot. And if you start typing screens, you're going to see this whole collection of screens. And I'm going to add a new one, which I am going to call comments. Yeah. So I like to put some good names, and yes, screens can be 100% dedicated to the project, but some of them you should also utilize them. Yeah, so like I'm just like common comment. Why not? Okay, it's like what a crazy name. Probably I would just think about this something a bit different, but I'm gonna add this. Yeah. And they're going to be located, of course, on the top. So now let's edit and see how it is looking inside. So of course, at the moment, it's going to be empty. So this is little like a little different, because before I'm going to create this comment, I would just think what I'm going to put inside. So let's just for fun, let's have a sign, Okay, so sign is there, and obviously, if you require components, if you require a due date, like first let's make a due date. Why not? Let's add due date. But there is that one field what I've been talking about, comment. Yeah. So if you start typing, look, there is no comment. Why there is no comments in a screen? Why? Because that comment is minimum field. So we've got two, but in a second you're going to see there is a third one, including comments. So what I'm going to do now, copy the name of my screen, go back to my transitions, and I have to like refresh, just hit F5. And now I'm gonna open the transition, go to edit, and from screen, I'm gonna paste that. Yeah, look at this, it is here. Cool. And if we've got enough time, I'm gonna also show you how to put that comment as the required, because again, a lot of people struggling to do that. So let's see how it works. But before, please, before actually you go further and test it, don't forget to perform one thing: save it. So publish, because otherwise, everything what you're doing around the workflow, if it's not published, of course, not will be visible on the workflow. And believe me, I've been so many times like looking around, changing stuff, and just completely forget to save it. Yeah. Let's publish it. Okay. So yeah, we can actually go to this tab, this second tab, and let's see what is going to happen now. So I'm going to move it. Come on, Jira. And there we go. We have our screen. Yeah. So obviously, do you remember it was assignee, due date, and of course comment. So just like finalize the comments, because we can have, especially with that screens, you can have a lot of fun. If you would like to add a screen with just a comment, add the blank one. Yeah, do not add anything. All right. So look at this. Cool. So now I can, I can assign myself. I can set the due date here, and if I want add the comment, I can do it without any problems. But there is one issue. Yeah. So let's complete. Oh, and of course, I cannot move it back because there is no transition. Yeah. So, okay. So what is the problem? So the problem is when we let's see. I'm just going to duplicate. We're going to like end up with 20 new tabs. So the problem is when we refresh that, when I'm moving, there is no requirement. So how to actually force people, to, for example, leave a comment. Yeah. So in our case, we're gonna have a comment. So okay, if using Jira Cloud is very simple. The only problem is when you're using Jira server or the data center, because without the plugin, I do not believe it is possible to do it. However, in a cloud, yes, it's a no problem. You can do it. So we can explore it a little bit extra features at the moment. I'm going to show you how to do it. So let's see our workflow again. Okay, we navigate to project settings, workflow, go to edit mode. And again, we're going to stop for a second on our transition. Why? Because there's something very interesting over here. We've got two options. We've got conditions and we've got validators. So what's the difference between them? It's really simple. So the purpose of conditions and validators are very, very, very similar. However, because they're doing something like they're limiting something. Yeah. However, please remember, it's very important information that validators are designed to work with screens. Yeah. So for that reason, if we would like to have that mandatory field, in our case, it will be comment, we're going to use validators. Condition is for something different. Like for instance, I don't know, you want to have a condition. For instance, condition could be based on the group, like only specific group of people will be able to move tickets. Especially I use in a production environment, I use this sometimes when we move tickets from any status into done, because when you're completing the ticket, depends about the environment, but when you're completing a ticket in a, let's say, some serious projects, it's a serious operation, and very often, like in my case, as you can see over here, will be impossible to reopen the ticket, which, by the way, this is how it is designed. But you can, of course, create a condition, like I said, based on a group or a role. Because I use free Jira, I even won't be able to show it. But again, don't worry. We will next time. I will probably show you a few examples. But let's explore validators. Yes, we go to validators, add validator, and here, if we're using Jira Cloud, oh, it is so much better. And I believe I haven't been using this for a while, but I believe last time I've been using this field required validator. This one, the third from the top in my Jira. And here I can choose, I believe, comment. And also, additionally, you can put some error message, like saying, like, if this is going to be just a specific, you can say, please provide a comment. Yeah. But I believe if you do not put any error message, it will be just like the default one. So again, let's test this. So we're going to add this. And of course, do not forget to publish changes. Yeah, every validator, condition, or post function you're adding, of course, you have to save the changes. Yeah? So let's see how that works in real life. Yeah. So again, don't need just keep refreshing. It's like kind of weird habit because of this bug, but you don't have to. Yeah. So let's see what's going to happen now. Okay. So I'm not going to put anything in that. Yeah. So just like ignore it. So can we do it? So it is not possible, of course, because it's actually saying that the comment is required. Yeah. So I'm really fine with that, but I'm like very little disappointed, because when I use, for instance, production on my server, plugin called JSU, it also put this little asterisk, which is like mandatory. Not a big deal. However, it works. Look at this. We don't need any plugin to do that. And again, I'm going to put this into a comment, and now we are absolutely fine. The workflow works cool. So now you know how to create a screen, yeah, how to convert the workflow from simplified to non-simplified workflow, and you also know how to create mandatory field. Yes. So we're not going to actually cover this time anything about the conditions. Let's see if we've got any questions, and I can move on to our next subject, which is going to be bulk change, bulk operations. Yeah, so bulk change. Bulk change is part of the filter. So we go to filters. You create any filter, and you can use advanced search, or you can use a basic search functionality. Yeah. So, well, in my case, I already have the query. And at the moment, we've got actually those 3 tickets, which whatever means. And how to do the bulk? You navigate to the meatballs on the right-hand side, go to bulk, select, go for next. And from here, you can select whatever you want. All right. And then, like, for instance, we can, for instance, delete them, transition, or even edit, like if you want to connect the edit. So that was actually one of the questions from someone, how to perform bulk operation really, really quick. Okay, so looks like we do not have any questions. Let me see. We don't have any questions. Do we have any questions? If you have any questions, let me know. I can answer it right now. I also was like thinking to show you how to import issues. I think one of the questions was how to import into Jira from outside. So it's like, is it possible to actually create tickets from outside sources? And to answer to this question is yes, absolutely, you can do it. And I've been doing most of the time from the Excel's like CSV, because I don't believe Jira is supporting Excel. How to do it? You can also do JSON and other stuff, but there is actually, before we're going to do it, we have to talk about one very important thing, which is you need to have a project administrator minimum permissions to do that. And it works the best if you've got system administrator. Yeah, so if you've got a system administrator, it works the best. I'm going to show you how to do it. So if you navigate to Jira, you obviously need that CSV file first. So what we're going to do, hit the dot, yeah, and there is an import, and there is something like external system import. Okay. And as you can see, there is like a lot of choices over here. However, in my case, I'm going to use CSV. So I'm not going to show you how to do it because it's pretty actually simple process. But from here, you need to select a CSV file. And I do not believe I got any CSV at the moment. However, if I have, of course, I'm going to select that. And there's another process. If you hit next, you need to map the columns, prepare the setup. So there's going to be preparation. So about the file, how to do it. And next one is going to be how to map the fields, because obviously if you're importing from outside system, like I don't know, some like I can tell you about my recent actually import, which was from a system called, God, I forgot, it's like the really, really massive ServiceNow, exactly. It's massive. Yeah, it's massive actually support system. So I've been importing some tickets from the ServiceNow, and it was like something like, I don't know, maybe less than 1,000. So step one, the CSV file needs to be very well prepared, obviously. And you need to know what field you want to do it. So in my like really quick advice how to do it, because it's more about importing stuff, never do it if you've got, let's assume, I don't know, like me, you've got 1,000. Never do it for 1,000. Yeah, just like try to simulate this, and if you can, do it on some demo project. Yeah, because believe me, you can actually map it very well, and there is like there is a chance the import is not going to be corrected. Yeah, there's always something. Yeah, so my approach to this is prepare the file, prepare the CSV, make sure you've got all details over there. They are visible, Jira can read it, they are formatted into the right format, and think about the fields. Yeah, so like for instance, especially if it's a production environment, I'm like 99% sure you probably need some custom fields. So you need to prepare that custom fields before. And next one, when that works, take 2 or 3 tickets, go to this section and try to map them. And when you're going to go into this last thing with the values, of course, the first one will be setup. Do it in the demo project. Yes, I know you can always, delete tickets if you've got enough permissions. That's not the problem. But sometimes it can be issue. So never import, especially if you never do it before. issues tickets to production. And when the dry run works absolutely fine, do it in a production. Yeah, so it's pretty simple step. Okay, let's see if we've got more questions. Let me show chat. Still learning this software. It's pretty cool. You know, I use Melon. I've been using Redstream or something like this. Anyway, the workshops are back. So if you just want to tell you a little bit more about this, I'm like this all the time. you should tell them. It's like have to move a little bit the camera or something. But anyway, workshops are back. So what is? Let me tell you a little bit about the workshops. Yeah. So if the stuff what I'm talking about to you right now, if you're looking for help to implement these changes, if you're looking for help with Jira or would like to learn in a super quick way using my methodology, just to let you know, the weekend workshops are back. Yeah, and if you follow this link, which is in the banner, you're gonna see I'm trying to organize at the moment twice a month, and it is weekend. Yes, it is weekend. So I'm gonna you're gonna learn with me. So let me know a little bit about this workshop because this is, in my opinion, very very interesting form of learning, and you'll be working with me. Yeah, so you will be working with me. I'm gonna lecture you about the stuff, and of course, it's a very small group of people, and after every lecture I will provide you with the help, and we're gonna implement that knowledge together. Yeah. So in my opinion, it's like the best way to learn this stuff. So anyway, I also was gonna leave if you link to my booking calendar if you want to have maybe one-on-one session with me or looking at help with other implementation. Of course, let me know. And that's almost it. Next time, next live, please, 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 I'm gonna try to do it every Friday, 12 o'clock. If you have any questions, let me know. And on top of it, next live will be about automation. So don't forget, next time we're gonna talk about automation. I'm gonna show you some like real life examples, real cases, how to automate the stuff. So I've got five. I've got this five really cool scenarios for you. I'm going to show you how to automatically transition ticket after an activity, because this is like, I think, the number one demand answer question. I think people have been asking me how to automatically move tickets after whatever 5 days on activity, how to email, how to automatically transition, and also how to use a specific operation based on the JQL. Very, very cool subject. So don't forget to join me next Friday. Okay, so thank you very much for today. Leave the comment, leave the like, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Bye bye.